What happened to My Hero Academia? And don't worry, this isn't a MHA sucks video, I think there are plenty of those out there. But what I want to answer is how come the same people making those videos were calling it shonen done right just 8 years ago? I have played these games before and watched this exact same thing happen with one of my all-time favorite anime, Naruto. Once overwhelmingly loved by the community and then overwhelmingly mocked. This is MHA and the shonen curse. Let's take it back to 2018, a better time, a simpler time. We got Black Panther, This Is America, the yodeling Walmart kid, Kanye West visiting Trump in the White House, Jake Paul Suicide Forest, oh god, progress is a lie. But 2018 was also the golden year for My Hero Academia. It brought back anime movies in the West with its first feature film, Two Heroes, being a smash hit commercially and critically. But MHA didn't miss in 2018. These were prime hours, and season 3 would debut just a few months later. The 1,000,000% smash, Dabi and Toga debuting, All Might versus All for One. MHA had fully broken into the mainstream, and when people talk about anime no longer being a weird kid thing, make no mistake, My Hero Academia laid so much of that groundwork. But you can only stay at your prime for so long, and what goes up must come down. Often, my buddies and I would talk about that weekend's episode the following Monday at school. And from those talks, it was clear that all the hype generated from the first half of season 3 left us a little disappointed at the comparatively tame second half. Everything up to All Might vs. All for One's fight was like crack, and now we're just supposed to go back to the tame stuff? But as research for this video, I perused quite a few MHA subreddits, and although the exact point is contested, everyone seems to agree that My Hero Academia peaked around this point in time, which is honestly way too agreeable for Reddit for this shit to just be a coincidence. And while I could talk about the second half of season 3 and what went wrong, what I think is actually far more interesting is just how closely the decline of MHA mirrors that of its predecessor, Naruto. For Naruto, it's everything post-time skip, and for MHA, it's the Hideout Raid arc. And of course, plenty of fans still like the following arcs, but usually the casuals and hardcores alike acknowledge that there was a decline, even if just minor. But that's not all these two series have in common. Another common complaint I saw listed among both current and former MHA fans was the benching of side characters. Part of what made MHA so fun to watch early on was the colorful cast that all seemed so intriguing, who all got their moments to shine. But as the series progressed, it turned entirely into the Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki show. Add in hella character bloat and the audience just stops caring after a while. And oh boy, is that something Naruto fans have been complaining about since well before the series even ended. You can click on any Naruto video with Rock Lee in the thumbnail, and there is a 100% chance you'll see a comment along the lines of Rock Lee deserved better. There are so many Naruto rewrites and fan animations that all try to fix the issue of the secondary cast becoming irrelevant post-time skip. The Konoha 11 versus Class 1A. It's actually wild how similar these two situations are. Around this time, both series also struggled to keep up in the animation department, which certainly doesn't help a show's reputation, as One Punch Man fans are very aware of these days. But MHA speedrunning Naruto's fall off wouldn't be complete without its own jump the shark moment. Despite whatever issues I mentioned before, the vast majority of invested fans stuck with their respective shows. The jump the shark moment is something that will cause even those fans to abandon ship, and usually has to make them feel betrayed in some way. For Naruto, that moment was the Six Paths reincarnation plotline. It's discovered that Naruto actually belongs to a long line of reincarnated ninja messiahs. It's hard to explain, but the point is, Naruto was officially a chosen one. And anyone who had watched the series from the beginning, who cheered when Naruto proved Neji wrong, who cried when Lee lost to Gaara, or who truly took Naruto's lessons to heart, that hard work could always overcome born privilege, was kind of just left to cope and seethe. To this day, one of the most viewed Naruto videos on YouTube is essentially pointing out this hypocrisy. And for MHA fans, their own personal 9/11 came in the form of the Six Quirks twist. I was watching the series with a friend of mine, and it was fascinating to see just how turned off of the entire series this made him.
What the fuck is this?
I thought the twist was a little contrived, but also fun, and I got what Horikoshi was going for. But at the same time, I can easily see why this would be the final nail in the coffin for so many people. Deku's power was always at its most interesting back when he hurt himself. Despite having immense power, he still felt like an underdog, aka the entire selling point of his character. He had to outsmart the foes, and the super strength was really just a tool, a part of his utility belt. And now the show is Dragon Ball Z, okay? And unlike Naruto, this change isn't really gradual. Naruto is really long, but MHA manages to feel rushed despite having arcs that feel like glorified filler. And to be clear, I like the school festival arc, it's one of my favorites, but I can't pretend like I don't understand why the show bled so many fans around this exact point in time. But what about its critical perception?
I can't stand looking at that thing. I can't. Vile.
There is a tendency for more critical sides of the anime community to dog on shonen. A new shonen comes along, it's universally loved, it demonstrates high emotional moments, thrilling action, just about everything someone wants in an anime. But instead of eating their shoe and admitting that shonen isn't the worst thing ever invented, they say, "Well look, it appears as though the Shonen Jump is learning a thing or two." But eventually, the cost of turning out weekly issues while meeting editor demands will inevitably create strain on the series. Characters get left in the dust, filler creeps in, it could be a lot of different things, but ultimately the quality of the show declines. Not as much so as to turn off the vast majority of watchers, MHA is still among the best-selling manga ever, but enough to make those critics no longer feel pressured to like it. And in fact, the cool thing is often to go against the grain now and pretend like their ass wasn't cheering for All Might to beat All for One. Despite being an MHA fan in high school, I recall being really bitter with the anime old heads talking about how shonen was finally good and how MHA learned so much from Naruto's failures. But well, look where we are now. Those same folks are talking about how cringe MHA is and how Chainsaw Man is the greatest thing ever made. The approval of CriticTube is fickle, and valuing your love of a series, game, movie, whatever, based off whether or not it's in vogue is just as stupid as there are often arbitrary reasons for disliking an entire frickin' genre. Demon Slayer went from breaking the internet to mid, apparently, after just one season. The anime community is internet hyperbole encapsulated. So what happened to My Hero Academia? It saw a decline, to be sure. While the individual point may vary, dedicated fans did hop off the hype train. But what happened to MHA's perception is the more important question. Its once identity as Dragon Ball Z come again. Once enough of those dedicated fans jumped ship, it became easy for the "it was never good" crowd to step in. I have a feeling we're going to see something very similar happen with Jujutsu Kaisen. If not this season, then probably the next one. Heavy is the crown, and it doesn't matter what series or even what medium your current fascination is in. If it's popular, there are people on the internet preying on its downfall. And when, not if, it fails to maintain its peak, you can bet there will be someone working to rewrite the whole narrative. Thank you for watching. God bless. Have a wonderful night.